So before moving abroad, I always knew that my relationship with people would change. I always knew I'll miss some of my friends. I'll definitely miss my parents and my family. But I also knew that my friends would stay friends. Family would always just be a call away and distance wouldn't matter, right? Spoiler alert, it does. Moving abroad doesn't just test your relationships, it transforms them. Some friendships fade, new ones form in the most unexpected ways, and staying connected with family becomes a whole new challenge. And love, well, let's just say that it tests your determination to actually make it work. And that's exactly what we are diving into today. Hi, I'm Priya from It's Okay, and welcome back to our series I Wish I Knew This, where I share all the lessons I learned after moving abroad so you don't have to learn them the hard way. This is episode number 3. 5 relationship lessons I learned after moving abroad. Let's get to it. Number 1. Learning to be comfortable with solitude. Being alone is not the same as being lonely. When I first arrived in the US, loneliness hit hard. No matter how many new people I met or how busy I kept myself, there were still long stretches of time when I felt completely alone. I came here on a work visa, which meant I had the opportunity to go to the office and meet some new people every day. And this loneliness hits hard to those who move here on a dependent visa, because initially they don't have anyone else other than their spouse, who ends up being at work for most of the time. Back home in India, I was surrounded by family, friends and neighbors, and if you're alone in India, there's always a noise that you can never really escape from. So naturally, early on in the US, the silence felt uncomfortable. But over time, I began to realize that these moments were opportunities for self-reflection, for figuring out who I was outside of everyone else's expectations. I was able to ask myself tough questions. What do I truly want? What's important to me? In those quiet moments, I was able to grow in ways I hadn't expected. Living abroad forces you to slow down, to reflect, and learn how to be in your own company. So next time loneliness creeps in, don't fight it. Embrace it as an opportunity. But if I were to share the one life-changing tip to anyone who's feeling lonely after moving to a new country, it would be put yourself out there. Number 2, guilt is good. The guilt of leaving your parents behind might actually be good for your relationship with them. See, when you're at home, it's easy to take your relationship with your parents for granted. Life gets monotonous and conversations usually center around food. Did you eat? What did you eat? What are you going to eat? And are you alright? But things change when you move out. You realize that your parents are now old and you're hit with a sudden pang of guilt. It happened to me as well, especially around the time of COVID, when I found myself calling my parents much more than often. And things gradually changed. My mom started opening up to me a lot more. She started sharing her dreams, her fears. We started speaking about her kitty parties, jagyatras, and even the latest neighborhood gossip. I started watching Anupama, and we started discussing Anupama during our weekly calls. We figured out that we don't have to speak every day, but once a week we talk to each other for over an hour and update on everything that's going on with our lives. The point is, I don't think all of this would have happened if I hadn't felt that guilt of leaving my parents behind in India. And while it's obvious to feel this guilt, maybe it's better for us to channelize this guilt into making our relationships with them stronger than ever before. Number 3, you lose some relationships over the years, and that's okay. One of the inevitable side effects of moving abroad is losing touch with your friends back home. While some friendships may endure the distance, others may naturally fade away. While it's great to hold on to old friendships, it's equally important to forge new ones in your new home. Now, many struggle with this, trying to recreate the comfort they had with the friends back home. But please remember, you don't have a shared history with the new people. So building new connections is going to take time. If you're lucky, there will be times when it's just going to click, but those opportunities are going to be really small. Other than that, putting yourself out there helps. Joining clubs, classes, or volunteering are great ways to meet people with shared interests, creating opportunities for lasting friendships. In the end, it's a delicate balance between holding on to old friendships and forging new ones. Number 4, embrace individualism. It is not selfish to put yourself first. Growing up in India, I was raised with a collective mindset. Decisions, big or small, often involved family, friends, or even society at large. Log kya kahenge? What will people say? Was a question that loomed over almost everything. But after moving to the US, I found myself in a culture that celebrates individualism. Here, your choices are your business. What matters is what makes you happy, fulfilled, or successful, not what others expect of you. At first, this was liberating. For the first time, I could prioritize my own dreams and desires, but it was also unsettling. Years of conditioning don't disappear overnight, and I often find myself wondering if I was being selfish. Over time, I learned that embracing individualism did not mean cutting ties with my roots. It simply meant finding a balance being there for others while also carving a space for myself. Number 5, reverse culture shock is real. Home feels different when you return after living abroad. But the bigger surprise, sometimes you feel different too. The first time I visited India after moving to the US, I was overwhelmed by the emotions I did not expect. On one hand, I was overjoyed to be back with my family, meeting my then boyfriend and now husband Darshan, and relishing the warmth, the food, and the familiarity. On the other, I found myself struggling to adapt to what used to feel normal. Things like crowded streets, a different sense of time, or even the way people communicated. It was confusing. This feeling of not quite fitting in a place that I had always called home. Adapting to life abroad had subtly changed me. And this is reverse culture shock, a mix of longing and disconnection that sneaks up on you when you visit home after living away. It can feel unsettling, but it's also a reminder of how much you have grown. It's not just about feeling rich when you earn in dollars and spend in rupees. Home may feel different now, but that's because you've changed, and that's not something to fear. It's okay to feel out of place. It's okay to need time to adjust. I know I said 5 things, but I have a habit of under-promising and over-delivering. So here's a bonus lesson for those who moved abroad but have a loved one back home. Don't give up on love. Long-distance relationships do not last. That's what I thought when I was first moving to the US. I was already dating Darshan for 2 years by then. I was pretty confident that this long distance won't last. But as you all know by now, it worked out for us. But it wasn't without its challenges. The initial time zone challenges were real. There were times where insecurity crept in too. But we always ended up figuring it out. We discussed everything with each other, and that meant even our problems were discussed with each other and not a third friend. There was no other shoulder to cry on, if you know what I mean. But overall, there is one thing that helps us survive the long distance relationship: that we never gave up on each other. We never gave up on love when it felt really difficult. So yes, the lesson I learned from this was to not give up on love. In today's world of dating apps, it's always easier to give up on love, to give up on each other, and to temporarily find relief to all your love problems. But trust me what I say, fighting for what you love is much better than giving up on it. Okay, that's enough Gyan for today, and that was the video, you guys. I hope you found something helpful in this. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe our channel. And if any of these lessons resonate with you, please leave them in comments. If you've learned something else, also leave that in comments. I would love to hear from you. This is also the final episode of our series, I Wish I Knew This. If this is the first one you're watching, I'll link the other two in the description below. Do check it out. And remember, if things aren't going your way, it's okay, Yaar, because they will eventually turn around. Until next time, this is Priya signing off. Have a wonderful day.